Hello, everybody. This is Don Markland with Accountability Now, and welcome to the Morning Jolt, where we give you small tidbits of data, information, and inspiration to make better decisions today. It's a tactical podcast about making today better today. For today's podcast, we are continuing our Job Hunter series with part 4, and today it is all about follow-up and mindset. But before we do, wanted to say thank you to all the people who've been listening. The podcast has been up only a little over a week, and we've seen multiple people leave very kind testimonials about their experience. And remember, please subscribe on Apple or Spotify. Leave a rating and testimonial. Those go a long way helping us produce this podcast. Thank you so much. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it takes someone between 22 and 27 weeks, roughly 4 to 6 months to find a new job. So if you are high in skill or high in paying job, like a vice president or something higher, that can also be as high as 6 to 8 months to find a job. This statistic, it's also just an average. So it doesn't mean anything because there's some other factors that can go into that. Some things I want you to understand. These things can impact how hard it can be. The quantity of jobs of where you're looking, like if you're trying to find an acting job in Dubuque, Iowa, that can be hard. The geographic flexibility of the job hunter. The flexibility in terms of job preference, like if you're holding out for management or something like that. The credentials of the job hunter. The level of demand for your skills. This is important. This is similar to real estate. The longer you're unemployed, the longer it can take for you to find work. The amount of time and energy that you devote to your job search will impact the length of time it takes for you to find a job. The quality of the job search materials that you use, like your resume or your LinkedIn profile, and the quality of your job search strategy and the quality of your networking strategy. All of those things are going to impact the length of time that it takes for you to find a job. With all those things, that is why today we're finishing up the Job Hunter series with follow-up and mindset. So, part 3 yesterday, we talked about the interview, the magic 4-step interview process. So I'm going to assume all of you are professionals at that. You're nailing your interviews now. You can review it at your leisure. After that, what do? How do you follow up? So this is immediately step 1, right after you've left the interview. I mean, while you're walking to your car, I want you to get on LinkedIn on your phone and connect with the interviewer, the hiring manager, the person that greeted you at the door or on your phone, and connect with every person you can that you met at the company on LinkedIn with the introductory note saying, "Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I enjoyed our interview and am excited about the future growth of insert company name. All the best," with your name and your phone number and your email. This demonstrates gratitude, courtesy, and tech savviness. It also opens up a channel where you can follow up and meet and discuss with them later. They can also follow up with you. This is so important. It is so discouraging to me when I interview somebody and they do not reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn. Do it immediately after the interview, within seconds of being done. Connect with them. I've had people say to me later, "Well, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to connect with you until I got the job." Folks, LinkedIn is free. Connect with them right after the interview. Step number 2, follow and likes. Be sure to follow the company and those people and start liking their posts and comments immediately after the interview. Now, be careful. Don't be too aggressive and creepy. Don't do it on everything that they do or post, but be relevant. I don't want you to be too aggressive here. Be consistent, but not irritant. So do a couple of posts here and there that they do. Like it, maybe a couple of comments. If the company posts anything, you for sure want to like or comment on that. Be relevant to the conversation. Comment on things that they're doing as an organization. Step number 3, the follow-up email. So many times people get anxious after a few days and they want to send a follow-up email to the recruiter asking, hey, is there a follow-up on this position? That doesn't work. And that causes irritation for the hiring manager. Don't do that. If it's been a few days, if it's been a week, via LinkedIn Messenger or email if you have it, you can share some content about the company or that's relevant to the industry or the space that you both share. Send it to the contact that you have. Send him something and send him a note. Say, hey, I saw this article online. I thought you'd be interested in it. I found this about the industries that we're both involved with, and I thought it was really cool. Keep the connection alive. Show that you're relevant in the space. Show that you care about the same things that they do. That's just as valuable as saying, hey, is this position still open? That is a follow-up email. The most important thing is that you keep the connection alive. That's what matters. Even if you don't get hired, stay connected with them. Nurture those connections because you never know when it will pay off. I've had friends, for example, in the pharmaceutical industry who made connections during their interview, but actually didn't get hired for that initial position. Later, almost a year later, they used this strategy, kept the connection, and then those interviewers hired them for a different position a year later that paid more and provided more opportunities. Make the connection and continue to follow up and nurture them. They could lead to big opportunities down the road. Now I want to lead into the second point of this podcast, which is mindset. Folks, on the job hunt, remember, it is a long haul. It is grueling. When you first get laid off or terminated or quit, it is tough. Initially, you're going to have high energy. You're going to believe, I'm going to tackle this and I'm going to get a job right away. You feel confident. You know your connections are strong. Your resume is great. And the jobs are going to come flying to you. Then all of a sudden, you start to learn maybe this isn't so easy. The job market's tougher than you realize. And the offers that you thought were going to come flying in maybe aren't as attractive as you hoped for. Or maybe there aren't any offers coming in at all. Maybe you're not even getting any interviews that you thought you were going to get. Maybe the only people calling you are those executive search or those executive placement companies that are charging massive fees just for them to help coach you on LinkedIn. You feel desperate, isolated, and alone. Job hunting is hard. I know this is hard. But don't give in to despair. Don't give up. This is my advice. Approach job hunting like a full-time job. Wake up every day the same time. Wake up every morning, shower, dress like you're going to work, hygiene it up, and feel great. And then plan your day like a full schedule. Book your appointments all day long. But instead of meetings like you normally would do, use time blocking with activities. So, for example, from 9 to 9:30, I'm going to reach out to the recruiters from Pearson & Block and Howard & Jackson and check on their openings. From 9:30 to 10, I'm going to do a networking sprint on LinkedIn and make 20 connections with companies in my specific job industry and the like. And block your whole day and eliminate all of the white space that you possibly can. Be so busy with real productive activity that by the end of the day, you're exhausted. So when your spouse says, what did you do today? And you say, nothing. I waited for the phone to ring. That is an impossibility. All you can say is, well, from this to this, I did this. From 10 to 11, I did this sprint. From 11 to 12, I made these phone calls. And you are exhausted because you hunted so much. Last, if you have the cash flow, hire a coach. Hire somebody to hold you accountable through this process. If you don't, then get an accountability partner, find a spouse, find a friend, somebody that you can report your activities to every single day. Get help to drive you through this, and you'll win. I promise. It is a grind, but if you attack it every day, you'll come out ahead. I know it. I've seen it. It is hard. It is mentally exhausting. It is frustrating. But as you approach it like a full-time job, You'll get through it. I know it. Again, unemployment. We are over 20%. I read that this morning. Over 33 million have lost their jobs. We all know people that are being impacted by this. We know it. And right now you can go to my website, accountabilitynow.net/LinkedIn download, and they can get their own LinkedIn Power Profile e-guide for free, where that can walk them through step by step how to get their LinkedIn profile tight. Just absolutely tight, and get their first steps towards fixing that on their job hunt. If you want more content, first of all, leave a review, subscribe on Apple or Spotify. Follow me on Forbes. You can follow me on Twitter @DonMarkland or Instagram, executivecoach.don. My website, like we just talked about, accountabilitynow.net. You can check out my company, the greatest digital marketing agency in the world, 411 Locals. Folks, thank you so much for listening. And this is your Morning Jolt.